Are you considering a move in 2026? Possibly even focusing on maybe Park Ridge, Des Plaines, Mount Prospect? Can't figure out what makes each one of them different and why you might want to choose to live in one or the other and how the real estate market is in all of those. We're Joe and Jean Marella with the Spouses Selling Houses team at Keller Williams, and guess what? We pulled a lot of data on those communities and we have a surprise for you.
Yep, we crunched the numbers for 2025, mostly focusing on three numbers: the average sale price, the days on the market, and the average list to sale price. So we pulled all that together for all three communities. We used Midwest Real Estate Data, that's our local MLS or multiple listing service. That's where the numbers came from. So take a look and we'd love to know what you think.
You've heard it a million times, right? Location, 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 especially around Chicago. But what if I told you that three suburbs, literally right next to each other, are playing by completely different real estate rules? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the surprising story of Des Plaines, Mount Prospect, and Park Ridge and figure out what it all means for you. Hey everyone, we're Joe and Jean Marella, and we're not just agents, we're your neighbors. For over 30 years now, our team, the Spouses Selling Houses, has had the absolute privilege of guiding families through these very communities. You know, we even opened the Keller Williams Market Center right here in Park Ridge way back in 2000. So believe us when we say, these towns are so much more than a market to us. They're home. All right, so what's the game plan for this explainer? First, we're going to get you fluent in the language of real estate, just three key numbers that unlock everything. Then, we'll take you on a tour of our three towns, comparing them side by side. But, most importantly, we're going to translate all this data into what it actually means for you, whether you're thinking of buying or selling. And then we'll talk about what's next. Okay, before we dive into the towns themselves, let's make sure we're all on the same page. Think of these next three numbers as your secret decoder ring for making a really smart, confident real estate decision. First up, we've got the average sale price. This is kind of the big one, right? It's the general price tag for a community. It gives us a quick snapshot of affordability and value, and it's the perfect place for us to start our comparison. Next, let's talk about days on market, or as we call it, DOM. This number is the pulse of the market. It tells us its speed. Are homes just flying off the shelves, or are they hanging around for a bit? A really low DOM means you better have your running shoes on, because things are moving fast. And our final key metric is the list to sale price ratio. Oh yeah, this is where we really feel the heat. See a number over 100%? That's your big signal that bidding wars are the name of the game. It is the #1 sign of just how fierce the competition is out there. So now that we've got our tools, let's put them to work. It is time to start our tour of these three fantastic, but as you're about to see, very different suburban markets. And our first stop is Des Plaines. I mean, this place is a commuter's dream. You've got O'Hare right next door, the Metro, the highways. Getting into the city is a breeze. It's really a place where convenience is king. And right away, the data shows us a pretty accessible market. The average sale price here is $480,000. You know, this makes Des Plaines a really attractive way to get into suburban life without a jaw-dropping price tag. So, what's the pace like in Des Plaines? We're looking at an average of 35 days on market. That's a really healthy rhythm. It's a sweet spot where you have a little time to think, but not so much time that you can afford to wait around. And the demand? Oh, it is real. A 102% list-to-sale ratio tells us that even with that approachable price, this is a competitive market. For buyers, that means you've got to be ready to come in strong and probably a little over the asking price to win the day. Okay, let's head over to our next stop and see how the story changes. Welcome to Mount Prospect. It's just next door, so it shares that amazing access to transportation, and it offers a wonderful variety of housing. You've got condos, townhomes, single-family homes, the whole shebang. But here's where things get interesting. The average sale price in Mount Prospect jumps up to $560,000. That's a pretty big step up, and it tells us we've just entered a whole new level of the market. And the pace here? Whoa. It is a flat-out sprint. We are talking just 25 days on average. In Mount Prospect, when a great home hits the market, it is a race to the finish line. Seriously, you blink, you might miss it. And the heat here is cranked all the way up. A 104% list-to-sale ratio makes Mount Prospect the undisputed champion of bidding wars among our 3 towns. Multiple offers aren't just a possibility, they're pretty much a guarantee. If you're buying here, come ready for a fight. And now for our final stop. We arrive in Park Ridge, what many consider the crown jewel of these 3 suburbs. With its beautiful uptown and a reputation for an incredible quality of life, Park Ridge has always been a premium destination. And that premium feel is definitely reflected in the price. The average sale price here climbs to a cool $650,000. This firmly places Park Ridge at the top of the mountain among these 3 communities. Now, the pace in Park Ridge is a brisk 30 days, so it's still fast for sure, but maybe a little less frenzied than Mount Prospect. And that makes sense. At this price point, buyers tend to be a little more selective, a little more deliberate. But here is the big twist in our story. The list-to-sale ratio in Park Ridge is 97%. That's right, under 100. So even though it's the most expensive town, it's the only one where you might actually have some room to negotiate. It's a little hidden opportunity in a very premium market. So we've done the tour. Now let's pull all that data together and look at it side by side. Because this is where the unique personality of each of these suburbs really snaps into focus. I mean, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? It's like a clear staircase of value, with each town being a distinct step up from the last. You've got the accessible entry point of Des Plaines, the mid-tier of Mount Prospect, and the premium peak of Park Ridge. 3 neighbors, 3 totally different financial stories. And this table just lays out the whole narrative for us. Des Plaines gives you accessibility, but it's still really competitive. Mount Prospect is in the middle on price, but it is by far the fastest and the hottest market of the 3. And then you have Park Ridge, the premium community with the highest prices, but, and this is the surprise, the most room to negotiate.
Okay, numbers on a screen are one thing, but what does all this actually mean for you? Let's translate this data into some real-world actionable advice, whether you're thinking about selling your home or buying a new one.
So, what's the bottom line? Well, for our sellers, if you're in Mount Prospect or Des Plaines, you are in the driver's seat. You can expect a fast sale, and you can expect offers over asking. Now, in Park Ridge, it's a different game. Pricing your home with precision from day one is the absolute key to success. And for our buyers, in Mount Prospect, be ready to run, not walk. In Des Plaines, you'll find great value, but you're still going to have to fight for it. And in Park Ridge, don't let that price tag scare you off. There's a real opportunity there for a smart negotiator.
Look, understanding these different market dynamics is everything. Each of these towns has its own unique personality and its own unique story. And knowing that story, well, that's the first step to writing your next chapter.
Navigating these different markets can be tricky, but you don't have to do it alone. We're Joe and Jean Marella, and for over 30 years, we've been right here helping families just like yours. We hope this little explainer has given you the confidence to take that next step. Now the only question is, where will your story take you?
So, what did you think of the video? We personally liked it. Thought it was a great overview with some real solid information on our markets.
If you're thinking about making a move in the next year or so, we'd love to sit down with you with a free, no obligation consultation to come up with your game plan on what that might look like.
Just a reminder, we are Joe and Jean Marella with the Spouses Selling Houses team at Keller Williams. We have also lived in Des Plaines for over 35 years, but are also proficient with Park Ridge and Mount Prospect and a lot of the other communities in the northwest suburbs. So we'd be happy to help you make a choice to find out where it's going to be best for you to make a move.
Thanks.